All right, so obviously I'm taking a little bit of inspiration from Rick Beato, but let's be honest, he doesn't do any R&B songs, and there's so many classic, important songs that we want to appreciate and just shine a light on and just show how amazing these songs are. And I wanted to start this off with Earth, Wind & Fire's Can't Hide Love. And man, actually, this came to a surprise to me because I knew I was going to do this video, and I was like, hey, I might as well look up a Wikipedia page and see what kind of things might be about it. And I had no idea. This is actually a cover of a song that came out just a couple years earlier by this group called Creative Source. And I'm not going to talk too much about the difference between these two versions, but wow. It's like Earth, Wind & Fire rewrote this song and just took the core concept of the original song and just made it absolutely amazing. And one of the best things about the song, or let's just start with this, obviously the intro. And it has the funkiest, the most attitude of an intro that you can get. Those horn parts where it just has those hits. And if you know anything about funk, like a very, very simple, maybe the most basic way to describe funk is syncopated 16th notes. And that's what this intro is. Let's just kind of give this a quick listen here. Those horn hits right there. So they come in on an anticipated 16th note, the one E N, right? Yeah, syncopated 16th notes. And it's so, man, to do that, like just musically, you gotta be really, really tight and in the groove. And it's just, the attitude that comes in with that beginning part is just so perfect and just, yeah. Oh, so good, so good. And after those hits, we get those chords, and it's got this beautiful suspension, like F sus, like, and then down, and you hear that in the horn. Well, the guitar does it too. But you hear the horns going, na, na, and it's so cool, man. It just releases into that beautiful, beautiful harmony right there. Yeah, it's so perfect. And then right below those hits, you got that bass, that walking bass moving up. We're in the key of F minor, and he's just doing this chromatic move. Right below those horn hits, those syncopated horn hits. And the great thing about this whole song, and each section does it beautifully, it all builds, right? So this intro, they go through those hits 4 times. The first 2 is just like the horn hits, the general arrangement, but then the 3rd and 4th time, they add the vocals in, and the vocals grow, right? So the first time, and then that 4th time, the 2nd time with the vocals, they add some harmonies to it. So it's always growing, it's always building, and that's your intro right there. It's just, it captivates you immediately. Like it grabs you in and just says, yo, check this out. So much attitude, so much groove in such a simple intro with just that one chord, building up, suspended, release, building up. Oh, so good. And then it drops you so perfectly into the sickest groove and drum beat for the verse right here. You want my love and you can't deny. Yeah, that drum part, that 16th note. So perfect. And from all that tension leading up to that verse, and just releases you into that perfect groove right there. You want my love and you can't deny. You know it's true, but you tried. Oh, man. And then you got that verse with these just wonderful chords, man. They're simple, but they're perfect. So we're basically in the key of F minor. We're going from F minor 9 maybe to 1 to 4, B flat minor. And it basically just does like a 2-5 right back to F. G minor 7 flat 5, C7 altered, and right back to that. So it's just 1, 4, and then 2, 5, 1, right back to it. So it's simple, moving, sounds nice, got a cool groove, and that verse is so good. And then even when we look at the vocals of that verse, the attitude is just so perfect, man. Maurice White, that attitude that he brings to everything, but his performance here is so good. It's so soulful. But just go back to that intro one more time. Listen to these harmonies. All right, that's the one. Then we add the harmonies the second time just to give it a little bit more energy. Then we got Maurice White bringing in the verse right here.
You want my love and you can't deny. You know it's true, but you try to hide. Yeah.
Yeah, those little ad-libs that he does, it's so perfect, so perfect.
You turn down love like a trailer bag. Ow. You can't give what you never had, yeah.
Yeah, the way that he builds the vocals, man, he just raises it up a little bit more that second time through. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this might be the first time where you hear Maurice White and Earth, Wind & Fire doing that iconic ow.
Trailer bag. Ow.
Oh man, that is such an iconic moment. Again, that attitude is so, it's everything. So the vocals are building it. He's just adding a little bit more ad-libs. This first verse goes through 3 times. So the first 2 times, he's singing it, adding a little bit more the second time. And then the third time, we start to hear a little bit of horns bringing it up, right? Bringing it up to our chorus.
Yeah. Well, bless your soul, you can fool a few. I know the truth, not so do you.
Yep. And so the horns are just a little bit to add to it, but really the intensity that's bringing us up to that chorus is the vocal part. He raises it, gets a little bit more energy, and is bringing it up there. He's bringing us up to the chorus.
I know the truth, not so do you.
Where Philip Bailey then comes in for a chorus. And this first chorus, it's pretty simple, where they're just going back and forth. They're just playing the parts. Philip Bailey sings. Maurice White fills in that extra little part in the back.
Can't hide love, well I bet you I can't hide,
yeah. And the chords for the chorus are simple but beautiful at the same time. And one of the things that I love most about it is that last part, for that last da. It goes from a D major 7 to a D minor 7 flat 5. And kind of the cool thing that I like about this movement, and you'll hear it in whatever kind of types of songs. It's not it's not unheard of to do that move. But what's kind of cool about it, if you know anything about theory, basically all you're taking is that triad, or that'd be an F minor triad with D flat in the bass, and that makes it D flat major 7. But we're just keeping that triad right there, and we're just moving the bass note up to D. And just, it gives it more tension, right? Until those hits at the end, to bring us with that wait, dun, dun. And then we get those hits and bring us right back into the next verse. One of the cool things about the hits at the end of the chorus is Verdine White, the bass player, he doesn't just hit really the notes with the horns. He just doesn't go. He's got this attitude where he's just like he slides out of the octave of F and hits it just like that. It's just, again, attitude, baby. Attitude, something unique, something perfect for it. Not to mention his groove and his feel and his tone. You could solo the bass and you're just gonna hear that groove clearly. Yeah, and bringing up those chords, he's always hitting that groove, that ba-dum, da-dum, again with those 16 notes, da-dum, da-dum. Like every downbeat is preceded with a 16th note, and that's matching the kick pattern and the drums, and that's the groove, and it's so locked in. And one of the things that just sounds really nice where he's able to keep up with that is he's adding chromatics, like basically every time. Walk down to the B flat, chromatically. Walk up chromatically to the G. You know, and then down to the C. Like there's all these chromatics, but that's just what gives it the movement to lock in that groove, and it sounds so damn good. And one of the cool things when you think about like variation and just making it continue to sound interesting and not just a copy and paste thing, at the end or the beginning of the second verse, you have this trail of strings that just a high note that just tails off from those big hits, that big chorus, and it's just tailing off. So it's still in the background. You got the main groove of the verse, and just similar to the first verse, but you still got that little thing in the back.
You can't pretend there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Girl, I look in your eyes, see you care.
And those vocal runs, all that attitude. Oh.
Girl, I look in your eyes, see you care.
Yeah. Fuck, that's so good.
Look in your eyes, see you care.
Yeah, and his tones, the tones that he's changing with his voice. Again, attitude.
So why not stop trying to run it high? You won't find out if you never try.
Yeah, those runs at the end.
Never try.
And he builds it again. He does the first half of the verse, just singing it, and then at the end he brings it up, and it's just almost screaming, but just like the energy's up. He's projecting way more, and you feel that energy, and that's gonna bring us into the chorus. And man, this chorus too, again with the idea of it's not copy and paste. There's just it's the same thing, but there's a little bit more energy, right? So when the chorus comes in, Philip Bailey starts singing it, but Maurice White is right below it, singing with not with him, but he's singing parts around that where he wasn't before. Right? So Philip Bailey's basically singing the same thing, but now you got Maurice White beneath that. You know, he's bringing it. He's bringing it so hard. And obviously that's going to bring a lot of extra energy and just something extra.
You want my love?
And a whole nother thing about raising the dynamics and the performance of the musicians too. Like you could hear it in the drums, particularly with this drum fill in the chorus. The drum fill, the hits or whatever. In the first chorus, let me find it. That fill there, that's on the first chorus. And you know, it's a cool little fill, he's bringing it, but you clearly hear in the second chorus, the drummer is just hitting it harder. Like you hear the snare crack just a little bit harder. Yeah, you can clearly hear he's whacking it harder. He's like a little bit more, and that is just so impressive to have that control of the instrument and just be playing at a volume, and know right here I'm gonna bring it up harder. And just raising it throughout the whole song. Oh man, it's just so perfect. And then you got those hits again, bum, bum. But this time, the bass player Verdine White, he does it a little bit different. He doesn't go F to F, the octave. He goes C to F, bump, bump, like a 5-1. Very kind of, typical kind of bass movement, I suppose. But it's cool that he does something different. Now with this outro, this is just some masterclass and dynamics and growth and building and building and building. So we got that outro verse thing where they're doing it. First half, okay, we're kicking with the groove, and we start to build it. Second half of that outro, we got the horns coming in.
Life's bound to die to hold you, yeah.
There's so many parts of this song that are just like iconic and just perfect and just exemplary. It's amazing. It's so amazing what the song is. Before we get to those O's though, and that building, man, again, the vocal performance, Maurice White, these soulful runs.
Life's bound to die to hold you, yeah. And you find a time of listen, yeah.
He's got these bends in there, like he's in between the notes perfectly, like this the soul.
And you find a time of
Then we got the O's at the end and how they build so nicely. We start off just a little bit lower with the vocals and everything. It's so great. So it's basically like a chromatic run, right? We're taking that original chord progression from the outro verse thing, and it's just going down. F to E flat. Oh wait, no, we're F to E flat to D flat to B, and just hangs right there, and just so beautifully it ties together those intro hits with the end. It does a bop 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 bop, right? So. And that's such a beautiful thing, man. That's anytime that you just are tying everything together, that's literally just beautiful art and musical perfection, I would say, is in a song. So that's so cool that they do that. They have that chord progression building down, and it's tension, right? It's just chromatic tension. The ahs are over top it, and they take you back to the intro with those cool hits, and they keep building it. So you got those first two times with the O's, they're just singing it, they're bringing the groove, building it, it's feeling good, a lot of tension. And then the third time, the ahs, they get up a little bit higher, the octaves, the harmonies just get a little bit richer. One thing I love about this, man, it's so cool, man, with the dynamics, not with just the players. Again, it's not just the players and the performance. It is all that, but it's not just that. It's even in the mixing. On this third time through, you hear the hi-hat get brought up in the mix, and like you don't really think about it. You just feel it that third time. The groove just gets a little bit stronger, and it's that hi-hat. So good, such a beautiful song. So man, I know I stole this idea from Rick Beato, but whatever. Someone's got to rep the R&B songs, and if you guys dug it, drop a like, drop a comment, whatever. If you want me to do another song, any songs that you have in mind, we got to stick with the R&B thing, right? We got to do this soul vibes. Let me know what songs you dig down in the comment section. Hit a subscribe, that supports the channel. Love y'all. Keep jamming, stay nasty.